My twin sis Tina rolled up to the psych ward looking like she went 12 rounds. She was black and blue. I clocked real quick she was getting beat, so I was like, bet, we're switching lives. I'm gonna teach that lowlife a lesson he'll never see coming. I'm Mia. My twin is Tina. We're legit carbon copies, but our lives ain't. People say I'm nuts. The shrinks at Ridgeway State Hospital, they got fancy words for it. Impulse control disorder. I just call it riding the vibe too hard. My joy is next level. My anger? Yeah. My anger is why I'm locked up. When I was 16, I snapped some dude's arm with a chair. He wasn't even touching me. He was dragging my sister Tina by her hair into an alley. Tina just bawled, but I saw red. I blacked out. Don't remember the details, just the crack of the bone, him screaming, and how everyone looked at me like I was some demon. My folks, already struggling, they couldn't hang. They were scared of me, so they ditched me here. That was 10 years back. 10 years in a white box. 10 years of bars, meds, and hearing other patients wild out. But low-key, I don't hate it. It's quiet. I get to read, and I get to train. For a decade, I've been doing push-ups, sit-ups, and pull-ups on the window bars. I've burned off that crazy energy, got my body built like a weapon. My only stress was always Tina. She got all our mom's soft side. I got our dad's fire. The day they hauled me off, I had to pop her one. You gotta live, I told her. Live for both of us. Be happy, you hear me? She promised she would. A year later, she brought some dude, Marcus Reed. He was hot, NGL, but his eyes were sketchy AF. I felt his whole vibe. I don't like him, I warned her. With my luck, who else is gonna wife me up? She said, with this sad-ass smile. What could I do? I'm the crazy one. My opinion was trash. Tina visited every month. She'd talk about her new life, her kid, Chloe, but her voice was always tight. She got skinny. The dark circles under her eyes got worse, and she always wore long-sleeved shirts, even when it was blazing hot. A married woman's gotta be modest, she'd say. She was cappin'. I'm her other half. I always know when she's full of it. Today was visiting day. I had this awful feeling. Straight dread. The rage I kept bottled for a decade was bubbling up. The iron door screeched. The person who walked in wasn't my sister. She was this weak, skinny shadow. Her collar was pulled way up. Her face was pale, eyes dead, and under her left cheek, a faint purple bruise she tried to hide with cheap makeup. She faked a smile. Mia, what's good? I didn't say squat. I stood in front of her and gently touched the bruise. She flinched. It's nothing. I fell off my bike. You fell off your bike, I repeating, my voice ice cold. And just messed up your eye? Make it make sense, she stammered, wringing her hands. I peeped her knuckles, all swollen and red. The anger started cooking. Tina, why are you wearing long sleeves? It's roastin' in here. I don't like the sun. I was done. I grabbed her wrist. She cried out, which just gassed me up. I ripped her sleeve up, and I saw it. Her skinny arm was a map from hell. Old yellow bruises, fresh purple ones, little circle marks from fingertips, and long thin welts from a belt or something. My whole body shook with a rage I hadn't felt in 10 years. That bastard. Marcus. Tina froze. The dam broke. She just collapsed, sobbing, clinging to my legs. Mia, save me. He hits me. He hits me all the time. His mom, his sister, they treat me like a dog. And Mia, he hit Chloe. He hit my baby. That last sentence, my blood went ice cold. He hit my 3-year-old niece. I pulled her up. Stop crying. Crying don't fix shit. Spill the tea. Everything. Sitting on my cot, she told me. Marcus was a gambling addict who blew his check and then took it out on her. But the real snake was his mom, Mrs. M. She tortured Tina, making her recook meals just to chuck 'em, making her hand wash the whole family's drawers. Then there was the sister-in-law, Gina, and her spoiled-ass kid, Aiden. Aiden pushes Chloe, spits in her food, Tina wept. When I say something, Gina and her mom just laugh. They gas him up. And Marcus? I growled. He looks away, she whispered. He says daughters are useless. And yesterday, he came home wasted. Chloe was crying because Aiden was pulling her hair. Marcus screamed at her to shut up. When she cried harder, he slapped her. Across the face. When I tried to protect her, Tina went on, he dragged me to the bathroom. He slammed my head against the sink. I thought I was gonna die. His mom and sister didn't stop him. They joined in. Gina scratched me with a comb, while Mrs. M shoved dirty socks in my mouth so no one would hear me scream. I'd heard enough. I stood up. Tina looked at me, terrified. Mia, what are you doing? I walked to the little metal mirror. I looked at my face. Pale, but my eyes were burning. I looked at Tina. We were identical. The only diff was she was dying, and I was just reborn. Sis, my voice was scary calm. You didn't come here to visit. You came here to swap lives. Mia, what? No! That place is hell! You've been locked up for 10 years. You won't survive out there. I smiled, a cold, thin smile. You're wrong. It's because I've been here for 10 years that I can survive. You can't beat 'em 'cause you're not crazy. I am. And only a crazy person can handle that kind of trash. I grabbed her shoulders. Listen up. Strip. I'll take off mine. But Mia, you want Chloe getting beat for the rest of her life? I cut her off. Trust. I've been waiting for this day. I laid out the plan. From now on, you're Mia. You're safe here. No one's gonna hurt you. Just be quiet. Nod or shake your head. They're used to me doing that. You just eat, sleep, and read. Wait for me. I'm gonna clean up that dumpster fire. I'll get Chloe out. I promise. Hope flickered in her dead eyes. She nodded. We swapped clothes. I put on her raggedy clothes. They smelled like fear and old blood. I put her ID and house keys in my pocket. The bell rang. Visiting time was over. Don't move. Wait for me. I walked to the door. The nurse nodded. Leaving, Mrs. Reed? I faked a shaky smile, just like Tina's, and nodded. The iron door of the ward slammed shut. I walked out the main entrance of Ridgeway State Hospital. The bright sun hit my face. Free air. After 10 years. It smelled like exhaust and dust. To me, it smelled like war. I was a demon, fresh off the chain. I walked out into the sun for the first time in a decade, the keys to my sis's prison in my pocket. I was heading straight into the lion's den. Next up, I meet my niece for the first time and start taking this family apart, one monster at a time. Remembering Tina's directions, I hopped a bus to the east side, a sketchy neighborhood of dark alleys and tangled wires. The smell of sewage was thick. I stopped at this busted house with a rusty gate. This is where my sister lived. This was her prison. My hand was shaken, putting the key in the lock. The door screeched. The house was a wreck. Old food, clothes everywhere. Floor was sticky. And in the darkest corner, I saw her. My niece, Chloe. She was skin and bones, holding a headless doll. When she heard the door, she flinched and pulled back. The kid was scared of her own mom. My heart shattered. I crouched down, faking a gentle voice I'd almost forgot. Chloe. Mommy. Mommy's here. She just shook, staring at me. So it crawled back already. A sour voice echoed. Tina's mother-in-law, Mrs. M, shuffled out. Short, heavy, rockin' loud floral pajamas. Where you been? You go see that crazy sister? You bring anything back? Or you just here to sponge off us again? I slowly stood up, keeping Chloe behind me. I didn't say jack. I just stared, drilling my eyes into hers. She felt the vibe shift. The daughter-in-law, who usually trembled, was standing tall. "What? What are you looking at?" Trying to be tough. She raised a fan. "Want me to poke your eyes out?" I gave a slow, little smile. "Sorry, mother-in-law. Didn't catch that." My smile clearly threw her off. Before she could talk smack, a shrill voice cut in. "Oh, Mom, tell her to make dinner. I'm starving." Gina, the sister-in-law, came out. Behind her was a chubby 5-year-old, Aiden. Seeing Chloe, Aiden ran at her. "Hey! Give me that doll." He snatched it and threw it against the wall. Chloe burst into tears. "Shut up!" Aiden shouted, shoving her hard. Chloe hit the dirty floor and choked back her sobs, too scared to even cry. Mrs. M and Gina just laughed. "That's my boy," Gina said. "Men gotta be strong." My rage, the rage I'd held for 10 years, roared up. Aiden raised his foot to kick Chloe. A hand snatched his ankle mid-air. My hand. The house went dead quiet. Aiden shook, started to shriek. "Let go! Mom! Grandma! This ant is breaking my leg!" Gina lunged at me, claws out. "Tina, what are you doing? Let go of my son!" Still holding Aiden, I blocked Gina's arm with my other hand, catching her wrist in a steel grip. "Sister-in-law," I said, my voice flat. "You need to teach your son better. If he touches Chloe again," I squeezed. Both Gina and Aiden screamed. "Next time, I won't stop at one leg." Mrs. M, finally snapping out of it, grabbed a feather duster. "You're crazy! I'll beat you to death!" She started smacking my back and shoulders. I didn't even flinch. I let him go, and they scrambled away. I turned to the old woman. I grabbed the duster. She tried to pull it. No chance. I looked her dead in the eyes, then snapped the handle in two and threw the pieces at her feet. "Starting today," I said. "New rules in this house. Now, what's for dinner?" Mrs. M, caught between scared and pissed, stammered. The rotten tilapia you brought. Make a stew. Real salty and dry. Just how you made it yesterday." "Bet, mother-in-law." I went to the kitchen, found the stinking fish. I stewed it, pouring half a bag of salt in the pot. I let it cook till it was a black, burnt, salty brick. I served it with cold rice and yellow veggies. Mrs. M, huffing, sat down and shoved a huge piece in her mouth. Her face turned purple. She spat it out. "Salty! It's poison! You're trying to kill me!" "You said salty and dry," I said, real calm. "I just followed instructions." She was so mad she grabbed the hot-ass pot. "I'm gonna smash this over your face!" I slammed my fist on the table. Plates jumped. "Put it down. Now." My voice, quiet, froze her. "You not gonna eat?" I stood up and walked around the table. A daughter-in-law's gotta be respectful. I took a big spoon, scooped the burnt fish, and grabbed her chin, squeezing her jaw open. "Eat it. Taste what my sister ate for years." She coughed and gagged, but I held her jaw tight. "Swallow. Tina, let go of my mom." Gina, forgetting she was scared, ran at me. I didn't even turn. Left hand held Mrs. M, right hand swung back. Splat. The sound was like a board hit in meat. Gina spun and hit the wall, the 5-finger mark already swelling up. She was shook. I let go of Mrs. M, who crawled off, puking. I faced Gina. "Does it hurt, sister-in-law?" "That was just a slap. You want to feel a real beating? Like the one you, your mom, and Marcus gave Tina? The one where you scratched her with a comb, and your mom stuffed socks in her mouth?" Gina's face went white. How do you know that?" "I know everything." I glanced at a pile of Aiden's dirty socks. Gina screamed, ran to her room, and locked the door. Mrs. M scrambled to her own room and did the same. Aiden, who'd wet himself, ran after his mom. Silence. I turned to Chloe, still in her corner. Her fear was mixed with curiosity.
I went to the other fridge, the one Tina told me Mrs. M kept stock for herself. Found chicken, yogurt, and fresh rice. I made Chloe a real meal. Eat, kiddo, I said soft. From now on, no one hits you. No one takes your food. She ate, and as she ate, she cried. Not from fear, but from relief. When she finished, she hesitated, then wrapped her little arms around my neck. Mommy, she whispered, you're different today. Mommy just decided she's not taking any more crap. I put her to bed and waited. Didn't sleep. At 11:30 p.m., I heard a motorcycle, stumbling steps, and a string of cussin'. Damn it! I lost again! Tina, open the damn door! The front door got kicked open. Marcus, my sister's husband, stumbled in. Tall, reeked of cheap booze, eyes bloodshot. Tina, where are you? He yelled, smashing a glass on the wall. Chloe screamed from the bedroom. Hush, I told her. Stay here. Mommy'll be right back. I walked out. Ah, there you are, he sneered. Get me water. Now. I just stood there. You deaf? He stumbled at me. I lost money, and I'm in a bad mood. I'm about to teach you a lesson. He raised his hand for the slap my sister took for years. His arm swung, but it stopped, midair. I caught his wrist. He stared, shook. He tried to pull free, but his wrist was in a vice. What are you doing? Let go! He threw a punch with his other hand. I tilted my head. It grazed my ear. You bitch! He sensed the danger. Tired from work, honey? I squeezed. Crack! The sound of his wrist popping out was short and dry. He screamed, agonized, sobering up instantly. My hand! What'd you do to my hand? You're not Tina, he hissed, collapsing in pain. I'm the wife you love to smash against the sink. I slapped him. Splat. It wasn't Tina's slap. It was mine. The force of 10 years of rage. The big dude hit the wall and slid down. Mom! Gina, help me. Tina's gone crazy! Not a sound from the locked rooms. His family ditched him. I'm gonna kill you, he roared, lunging at me like a wounded animal. I didn't back up. I stepped into his lunge, ducked under, grabbed his hair, and drove my fist straight into his gut. Boom. He folded, gasping for air. This, I whispered, holding his hair, is for Chloe. I slapped him again. And this is for Tina. I dragged him to the bathroom. You like playing with water, huh? I filled the sink and shoved his head under. He thrashed, but I held him tight. I pulled him up for a second, then shoved him back under. Refreshing, honey? You loved hearing Tina beg, right? I yanked him up. The drunk was gone. Just pure terror. He was shaken, cowering. He'd pissed himself. Gross. I let him go. He collapsed, puking.
Puking. I walked out. I saw the pot of salty fish Mrs. M puked up. I looked at the basket of the family's crusty, dirty laundry. Got an idea. Marcus was the muscle, but Mrs. M was the brain. I put a pot of water on the stove, grabbed a pair of Mrs. M's old dirty panties and tossed them in to boil. A nasty-ass smell filled the house. Marcus had crawled to his mom's door. Mom, help me! She's a demon! The door stayed shut. Go away! Mrs. M shrieked from inside. Die alone! Marcus froze, looking betrayed. He turned and saw me stir in the special broth. I ladled a bowl and put it in front of him. Drink up. Medicine to cure ungrateful sons. Medicine to cure husbands who hit their wives 'cause their mommy tells them to. He sniffed it. His face went white. No. You're a demon. I learned from this family. I snarled, grabbing his hair and forcing his mouth open. You reap what you sow. The door to Mrs. M's room flew open. She stood there. She saw her panties boiling in the pot. She saw her son being forced to drink the water. Her eyes rolled back, and she fainted. I looked at Marcus, gagging on the floor. Get to your room. I ordered. If I hear one sound, you'll drink the rest of that laundry water. He scrambled away. The house was finally, truly silent. Marcus was broken, and his mom was shook, but I knew it wasn't over. They were cowards, and cowards don't fight fair. Next up, they call the cops to try and lock me up, and when that flops, they cook up a desperate plan to poison me. Next morning, the house was quiet as a grave. I made a real breakfast for Chloe and me from Mrs. M's hidden stash. From the 2 locked rooms, nothing. Round 9 a.m., a loud knock. "Police, open up." I smiled. That was fast. I opened the door to 2 cops. "Are you Tina Reed?" the older one asked. "We got a complaint from your husband, Marcus. He says you brutally assaulted him." Just then, Marcus crawled out, face swollen, wrist bandaged, limping all pathetic. "Officers, look! She hit me! She's crazy, just like her sister in the hospital. Arrest her!" Mrs. M and Gina peeked out to back him up. "It's true, officer. She hit all of us." Gina pointed to her still swollen cheek. The older cop looked at the big, beat-up Marcus, then at me, small and bruised. "Mrs. Reed, is this true?" "Yes, officer," I said real quiet. "I assaulted them. In self-defense." "Lies!" Marcus shouted. "Officer," I said, "if a husband hits his wife till she's covered in bruises, chokes her, and slaps his 3-year-old daughter, is that also assault? Or is that just a domestic matter?" The cop's face got hard. "What do you mean?" "I mean this." I walked to the drawer where Tina kept her secrets. I pulled out a stack of papers. "This is my medical report from 3 months ago. Broken ribs. This is a photo from 2 months ago. Broken nose. And here," I spread dozens of reports on the table, "are the bruises, the belt marks, the scratches. 7 years of this." I rolled up my sleeve, showing Tina's old injuries. "This is from 2 days ago, when he choked me, and my mother-in-law and sister-in-law held me down. I put up with it for 7 years. Last night, he came home drunk and tried to hit my daughter again. I finally reacted. I hit him once. He has hit me thousands of times. Officer, if he can hit me and not get arrested, why am I the one in trouble for hitting back?" The older cop sighed. He turned to Marcus. "Son, look at her. You've been doing this for years, and now you call us 'cause she finally fought back? With this stack of reports, you're the one who should be arrested for felony assault." Marcus's face went pale. "I'm warning this family," the cop said, glaring at all 3. "Live like decent people. Don't make us come back." He turned to me. "Mrs. Reed, if he touches you again, you come straight to the precinct with these reports." "Thank you, officer," I sobbed, playing Tina's part perfectly. The cops left. Marcus, Mrs. M, and Gina stared at me with this new mix of fear and hate. They knew the law wouldn't help them. I knew they weren't done. I could hear 'em whispering all day, plotting in Mrs. M's room. They couldn't beat me with force. They couldn't use the cops, so they fell back on their only weapon left. "She's crazy," I heard Mrs. M hiss. "It's not Tina. It's Mia, the one from the hospital." "We gotta weaken her," Mrs. M decided. "Sleeping pills. In the soup. We'll give her a huge dose, and when she's asleep, we'll tie her up and call Ridgeway. They'll come get their escaped patient." That night, dinner was weirdly nice. Mrs. M was all smiles. "Tina, I'm so sorry. I was wrong. We're family. Please, eat," I smiled back. "Of course, mother-in-law. We are family." "Oh," she said. "I made some special chicken soup for Chloe to make her strong." She put a steaming bowl in front of us. Her eyes were glued on me, waiting. I took the spoon. "Looks delicious. Thank you." I raised it to Chloe's open mouth, then stopped. Ouch, it's hot. Mommy will cool it down. I blew on the spoon, and then, oops! I accidentally knocked the entire bowl, spilling the drugged soup all over the floor. Oh no, I gasped. How clumsy. I'm so sorry, mother-in-law. The three demons' faces twisted from hope to rage. But they couldn't say jack. Their first plot failed. They wouldn't wait to try again. Middle of the night I heard 'em. Sneaky footsteps. I closed my eyes, breathing even, hugging Chloe. The door creaked. 3 shadows, Marcus, Mrs. M, and Gina. Marcus held a thick rope. Gina had duct tape. Mrs. M held a towel to gag me. They thought I was asleep. They lunged. The second that rope touched the blanket, I exploded. I didn't go for Marcus. I double-kicked Gina in the stomach. She hit the wall and collapsed, gasping. I grabbed the ceramic lamp and smashed it over Marcus's head. Crash. He howled, clutching his bleeding head. Before Mrs. M could even scream, I had my arm around her neck, using her as a human shield. Silence! I roared, as Chloe started to cry. Everyone shut up! Marcus froze, blood streaming down his face. Don't touch my mother. What do you want? What do I want? I laughed, dragging the old woman. What were you going to do with that rope? Tie me up? I shoved Mrs. M at her son. Go to the living room, all of you, now! I herded all 3 of them, the bleeding husband, the wheezing sister-in-law, the terrified mother, onto the sofa. I looked at Marcus. You're my husband. A husband should sleep with his wife. I pushed him toward the bedroom. I brought Chloe out to the living room. Watch TV, honey. Don't come in. I slammed the bedroom door and locked it, leaving me inside with Marcus. What are you doing? He whimpered. Same thing you were going to do to me. I held up the rope. He tried to fight, but he was wounded and weak. In less than a minute, I had him tied up tight, spread-eagled on the bed. I stuffed a rag in his mouth so he couldn't scream. I went back to the living room. The 2 women cowered on the sofa. Mother-in-law, sister-in-law, I said, my voice shaken with fake fear. Help me! Marcus, he's gone completely insane. He tied me to the bed. He said he's gonna kill me. He's looking for a knife right now. This was the lie they wanted to hear. Their eyes lit up. She's tied up? Gina sneered. It's our chance. Mrs. M gritted her teeth. She dared to hit me. She dared to humiliate my son. Get a stick, Gina. I'm gonna beat that demon to death. Gina ran and got a mop handle. Mrs. M grabbed a thick bamboo cane. The room. It's dark, I whimpered. Better in the dark, Gina said, her eyes gleaming. I pulled out my phone and hit record. I opened the door, sobbing. Please, help me. Help is in hell! Mrs. M shrieked. The 2 women ran into the dark room. They saw the figure on the bed, tied up, writhing and groaning through the gag. They thought it was me. Die, you crazy bitch! Gina raised the mop handle and started beating the figure with all her strength. Wham! Wham! You dare to hit me? Mrs. M shrieked, striking his legs and ribs with the bamboo cane. I'll teach you who's boss in this house. Crack, thud, wham! The sound of wood on flesh and bone. Marcus couldn't scream, only groan in agony. The more he groaned, the harder they hit. I stood at the door, my phone recording every second. The red light was on, catching it all. After 5 minutes, Marcus stopped moving. That was enough. I walked in and flipped on the light. The 2 women froze, sticks in hand. They blinked in the bright light. They saw the person on the bed, bloody, gagged, and broken. It wasn't me. It was Marcus. Gina screamed and dropped the stick. Mrs. M stared, her mind breaking. She looked at Marcus, then at me. I was standing at the door, phone still recording. You hit well, mother-in-law, I smiled. I've got it all right here. Felony assault, conspiracy, attempted murder. How do you think this will look to the cops?" Mrs. M staggered, and then she collapsed. This time she didn't faint. She just broke. With the video in my hand and the family in ruins, I had all the power. The game was over. In the final part, I call the cops one last time, and then I make them pay every single dollar they owe my sister. I calmly put my phone in my pocket. "Sister-in-law," almost helpful, I said, "you should probably call an ambulance. I think you broke your brother's ribs." You tricked us," Gina stammered. "You set us up." "I set you up?" I laughed. "I asked you for help. I didn't tell you to bring sticks and beat him half to death. You did that all on your own." I dialed my phone. "Hello, police. This is Tina Reed. I need to report a felony assault. My mother-in-law and sister-in-law just beat my husband Marcus with sticks. I think they've broken his bones. Please come quick. I'm afraid they'll kill him." I hung up and called for an ambulance. Then I sat in a chair, crossed my arms, and waited. The sirens filled the night. The same 2 cops from the day before arrived, this time with backup. "What happened now?" the older cop demanded. "It wasn't me," I said, stepping aside. "They had a family dispute." The paramedics rushed in and paled when they saw Marcus. "He's in serious condition," one said. "Multiple fractures, head trauma." As they were cutting the ropes, Marcus whispered, "Mom, Gina," before passing out. "Mrs. M, Ms. Gina, what happened here?" the cop barked. "She tricked us," Mrs. M wailed. "She's a demon. She's the crazy one from the hospital. She's the instigator." "Yes," I nodded. "I am crazy. But are you going to believe the crazy woman, or would you rather just see the video?" I played it for them. The cops watched, horrified, as the 2 women mercilessly beat the man tied to the bed. They heard their curses. "Die, you crazy bitch! I'll teach you!" The older cop's face was grim. He had seen a lot, but a mother and sister beating their own family member like that. He stopped the video. "Enough. Mrs. M, Miss Gina, you are both under arrest for aggravated assault." "I'm innocent. She tricked me," Gina shrieked as the handcuffs clicked shut. Mrs. M fainted for real this time. "Put her in the ambulance," the cop ordered. "When she wakes up, bring her to the precinct." I stood at the door, holding a sleeping Chloe, and watched them all get taken away. The ambulance, the police car. The monsters were gone. The next morning, the house was quiet. Only Aiden, Chloe, and I were left. "Where's my mom?" he asked, all arrogant. "The cops took your mom and grandma to jail," I said calmly. "They did something very bad. They hit your uncle with sticks till they broke his bones, just like you hit Chloe." The boy's arrogance vanished, replaced by fear. "No, You will apologize to your cousin," I ordered, "and from now on you will treat her with respect." He looked at me, then at Chloe, and whispered, "I'm sorry, Chloe." A week later, the family limped back. Marcus was first, out of the hospital, his arm in a sling and his ribs taped up. He didn't dare look at me. Then Mrs. M and Gina were released, waiting for trial. Marcus, terrified of being left alone with me, had dropped the charges. The 7 days in a cell had broken them. Their arrogance was gone, just fear and exhaustion. That night, the 3 of them, Marcus, Mrs. M, and Gina, entered my room. I put a finger to my lips. "Chloe is sleeping." We went to the living room, and then Mrs. M, that wicked, proud old woman, knelt. Gina, seeing her mom, knelt and burst into tears. Marcus, with his broken ribs, just bowed his head. "Please," Mrs. M said, her voice a hoarse whisper. "I don't care if you're Tina or Mia. I beg you, leave us. We'll give you a divorce. We'll give you anything. Just go." I looked down at the pathetic family that destroyed my sister's life. "All right," I said. "We'll divorce, but it's not that simple." I held up one finger. "First, child support. Chloe is 3. You'll pay for the next 15 years. $350,000 in one payment. "You're a thief!" Gina shrieked. "We don't have that money!" I held up a second finger. Second, marital assets. My parents gave Tina $100,000 for this house. You'll return it. Plus $30,000 for her 7 years of unpaid labor. Total, $130,000. I held up a third finger. And third, compensation for pain and suffering. For the 7 years of beatings, broken bones, and humiliation. $140,000. Total, $620,000. "You're crazy!" Marcus yelled. "We don't have it. I'd rather go to jail." "Oh, you don't have it?" I smiled. "You don't have money for a daughter-in-law, but you got money hidden from your own kids, don't you, mother-in-law?" Mrs. M's face went white. What money?" Gina asked. "The insurance payout," I said. "From your husband's death. $900,000. Wrapped in plastic, in a jar, hidden in the kitchen shed." Marcus and Gina stared at their mom, then at each other. They ran to the kitchen. Minutes later they returned, a sooty jar in their hands. They dumped it. Wads of cash spilled onto the floor. "Mom?" Marcus trembled, his voice full of rage. "You had this? You let me fall into debt while you hid $900,000? The three of them exploded, screaming, scratching, and fighting over the money. I just coughed. "Ahem." They stopped, bruised and panting. "My $620,000, I said. "In 3 days, with the divorce papers. Or this video, and this whole story, goes to every newspaper in the city." 3 days later, a suitcase full of cash and the signed papers were on the table. "Now go," Mrs. M hissed, her eyes dead. "Disappear." I took the suitcase. I took Chloe's hand, and I walked out of that hellhole without looking back. I took a taxi straight to Ridgeway State Hospital. I walked in, not as a patient, but as a visitor. I went to my old ward. I found Tina in the common room, surrounded by nurses and the hospital director. She was wearing the patient uniform, but she was glowing. She was smiling. "Congratulations, Mia," the director was saying. "A miraculous recovery." Tina saw me and ran, hugging me and Chloe. "Mia, you're back." "Sister, what's going on?" "Ah, you must be Tina," the director said to me. "I have wonderful news. Your sister Mia is completely cured. We did her periodic evaluation last week and all her indexes are stable. She's perfectly normal. We're processing her discharge today." I looked at Tina. She winked. I got it. My sister was never crazy. She was just terrified. Once she was in my safe, quiet cell, away from the abuse, she was just Tina. And when the doctors evaluated Mia, they found a perfectly sane woman. She had cleared my name. "Yes," I said, my voice thick. "I've come to pick up my sister." The director handed Tina the discharge papers. "Starting today, Mia, you are completely free." We walked out of the hospital together, Tina, Chloe, and me. The heavy iron door closed behind us. The sun was warm. "Mommy? Auntie Mia?" Chloe asked. "Where are we going now?" Tina looked at me and smiled. "We're going home, baby." "Home?" I asked. "Wherever the three of us are together," she said. "That's home." We rented a sunny apartment far away from that dark alley. We bought new clothes. Chloe started daycare. Tina bought a sewing machine and started making dresses. I bought books. For years, people called me crazy because I felt too much. But if I hadn't felt my sister's pain, if I hadn't let that rage burn, we'd still be trapped. My madness wasn't a disease. It was my strength. It wasn't me who was sick. It was the world that let those monsters thrive. We didn't just escape. We took back our lives. And our new life has only just begun. Thanks for kicking it with HiFi Stories and checking out this story. For the longest time, people said I was nuts. Like I was just way too extra and didn't fit in. But real talk? Sometimes being all in your feels is what keeps you real. If I hadn't let that hurt fuel me, I never would have had the guts to step up. Sometimes you gotta be the one to shake things up, so everyone else can finally get a clue. If you feel me and you were digging this story, show some love and go ahead and smash that like button. I'm trying to see where y'all are at. Drop your city in the comments below. For more real-life stories like this, make sure you subscribe to HiFi Stories and ring that bell so you don't miss a thing.